Ladies and gentlemen, it is so good to be here with you today. Please, I hope you've started eating. If not, I'm going to give you permission to eat. I know my job is to make sure that you eat, and if you hear anything in between, that's okay too. It's so good to be back with you. It's great to have everyone together. I've been told that this is one of, if not the largest gatherings that the league has had, and I'm so impressed with the work that is being done. I want to give my own gratitude and just share my love for this organization and your leadership. I hope you realize how lucky you are to have people like Cameron Deal and others who serve you. I get to see them in action. I know you do as well, but it's so fun to watch them working with the legislature, working on the big issues, and working to make our state a better place. Mayor Ramsey and I have been friends for such a long time, and you are so very, very fortunate to have her in this position. And it's fun to see all the kids from, I think we had every kid from South Jordan here today. So it's just perfect. I don't know who's in the schools right now, but whatever's happening out there, I hope they're having a good time. That was fun to see those kids be here and perform. Now, I just, over the past few months, I've been in this job now for a little over a year and a half, and I was sitting with my team, and we were having a conversation. I said, look, get me out of here. I'm spending way too much time here at the Capitol, and that's not good. It's not healthy. It's not good for me. It's certainly not good for our state. It's so easy, and I know you see this no matter where you serve, your perspective changes over time. Even if you don't want it to, it does, because you get surrounded by people, good people who are telling you all the right things, all the things you want to hear. So there are two groups of people I hear a lot from. The people that are around me, who try to make my life better and easier, and I love my staff and they're amazing, and then the people who hate me. I hear from them a lot too. But all the other people, I like to call them we used to call them the silent majority. Maybe I'll refer to them as the exhausted majority now. I believe that they're still out there, and I want to hear from them. So I said, you got to get me out of the bubble. And so we decided that we would schedule time to go out and spend more time in your cities and towns. And so I've had an opportunity now. We're calling it the Utah 360 Tour. I've spent some time in northern Utah. I've been in Davis County, Weber counties. I've been up in Cache Valley. I'm headed down to St. George late tonight, and we'll spend a little time down there. We'll be in Cedar City next week, and it's so helpful for me to be out there and to hear from you and to hear from your constituents and my constituents. And what I'm hearing, and I think there's some of the same things that you're hearing. First of all, they're really worried about the state flag. So let me maybe share a little bit. Nobody cared about the state flag until the legislature started talking about it. Now suddenly everyone has an opinion on the state flag, which is really good. Here's what you need to know about the state flag. So we've been going through this process. First of all, first thing you need to know, share with your constituents, and maybe this will help you, is we really don't have a state flag. This flag, this beautiful flag, I don't even know if this is the right one. Most of them are wrong that you see. They have mistakes. It was never intended to be the state flag. But we had a World's Fair coming up, and we were a state, and nobody could agree on a state flag, and the governor was putting one together, and the legislature, you know how they feel about that. So the legislature said no, and so they just said, well, let's just slap our seal on this blue bed sheet, and we'll use that for a while. So that's what happened. That's how we got a flag. Guess how much input the citizens of the state had in this? None. Zero input. No citizen has ever had any input on our state flag. So that's the first thing you need to know. The second thing you need to know is I refuse to get rid of this flag. If the legislature tries to get rid of this flag, I will veto it. I do not want to get rid of this flag. It is too important to our state and to its history and heritage. I actually want to elevate this flag. What we're talking about doing is making this a ceremonial flag that will come out at the most important ceremonial times in our state. So we would fly this over the Capitol on Flag Day and Memorial Day and Veterans Day, on the Labor Day, those really important times. Also use it again when dignitaries come. We would use it at the inauguration of governors. It would have an elevated role. And then what we would create is what I would refer to as the people's flag, something that is much more representative representative. By the way, there are about, I don't know, 20 other states that did the same thing. They're like, yeah, we can't figure this out. Let's just slap our seal on there. And if you've ever walked in and seen like all 50 states, all their flags, and you're like, oh, there's Arizona, and there's Colorado, and there's New Mexico. I recognize that. And ours is in there somewhere. There's like 20 of them that look exactly the same. Again, nothing really distinctive about it because that seal on a bed sheet is what so many have done. I love to ask this question too. How many of you have gone to Disneyland before? I'm just kidding. This is Utah. All of you have been to Disneyland lots of time. How do you recognize other people from Utah? Yeah, they're either wearing their BYU or their Utah gear, or their Utah State gear for the Aggies in the room, right? That's how we tell each other apart. The things that divides us as a state, that's how we know. And we're like, oh, you're from Utah, but I don't like you, right? That's how we do that. You don't ever see anybody wearing the state seal. I think I'm the only person that ever wore the state seal in Disneyland, okay? Our state flag. So we're really excited about that. So we had thousands and thousands of people submit ideas. There was a committee that narrowed that down of experts, people. Do you know what a flag expert is called? A vexillologist. These are the things you learn when you're governor. So the vexillologists all got together. They narrowed it down to 20. And those 20 were put out. We've had now over 30, yesterday was the last day to comment, I think. We've had about 35,000 comments on those 20 submissions. And we had a meeting yesterday where we reviewed those. There are really 2 or 3 that kind of rose to the top amongst the public. We also heard from tribal leaders. We heard from legislators. And by the way, it's the legislature that will ultimately make this decision. And so we've sent all of those comments now back to the experts, and they're going to come back with a few more designs, just tweaking some of the designs that are out there. And then probably during the legislative session, the legislature will decide, are we even going to do a people's flag, or are we just going to keep things the way they are? And if so, what will that flag be? So keep paying attention. If that's of interest to you, we would love to have your feedback and certainly talk to your legislators. Now, second thing that I hear is we're really worried about growth, right? And not just growth, but the problems that come with growth. So we're investing in infrastructure. I so appreciate our legislature's determination to invest in infrastructure in your cities and towns and across the state. But the price of housing is a really big deal. I hear that all the time. We want our kids to live near us, not with us. That's our goal as Utahns. That's what we want. And so to do that, we have to have more supply. This is a supply side issue. There is no question. And getting more supply, government plays a role in that. And I know it's a very difficult proposition. Even if you want more supply, even if you know you can do this and keep the quality of life high, the neighbors probably don't want more supply next to them, right? That's what we hear over and over, and that's making it hard on you. It's making your lives more difficult, and there are very hard decisions that have to be made. I don't know what the right answer is, but I do know we're going to work on it together, and I so appreciate the mayor and Cameron working closely with us and with the legislature on the Unified Economic Opportunity Commission. We will be working over the next couple months on what that looks like. I've laid the marker. I want bold initiatives, but I want smart initiatives. And we could do both of those things here. I believe in that. And so we're going to work together on that. The next thing I hear about is water. I hear that over and over again. Now, I want to share some really good news. Now, we are in drought 8 of the last 10 years, and really it's a 20-year drought. The worst drought since whatever year it was, like 800, I think. It's been like 1,200 years. This is the worst drought we've had in the West in 1,200 years. Here's some positive news. Our water supply right now is about exactly where it was at this time last year. And we did not think that was possible. The experts told me that was not possible because we had such a poor snowpack this year, that we would be below where we were last year. So to be even where we were last year is really a miracle, and it's a 2-part miracle. One, it's rain that we got, but the biggest one is its conservation. It's people in your cities and towns who are voluntarily cutting back, farmers who are cutting back, making their lawns yellow, growing different crops, fewer crops, or upgrading the technology, and that's making a huge difference. I get so excited when I drive around and see yellow lawns. Apparently, I'm violating my religion, according to an article in the UK. I didn't know that, but I didn't know my religion required me to have green grass, but I love the yellow grass, and so I'm so proud of the people and their willingness to voluntarily cut back. Thank you for your leadership to make that happen. We have invested, and again, I have to give kudos to the legislature. The largest, not just dollar amounts, but the amount of water conservation legislation that passed this last time, more than any time in our state's history. $500 million towards water conservation. We have almost $200 million that has now been allocated for secondary water metering. I know many of you participated in that. Thank you. For your work there. I know it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort, but that's very important for our state. We can't save what we can't measure, so we need to be able to do that piece of it as well. I want to thank our agriculture community who has stepped up in a very big way. We had over $70 million that has now been allocated to improving and enhancing the technology that they're using, so we can still. By the way, we got to grow food, guys. Let me just make this very, very clear. If you want food, there is no food that can be produced without water, zero, okay? We're not selling most of our alfalfa to China. There is some that are selling that, but most of it is not going to China. We have to be able to produce food here in the state of Utah. It's absolutely important, and we will continue to support our farmers and make that happen. But we can do that using less water, and that's so important and critical, and they're making that happen. So I want to thank you for that. The last thing I hear is, we want to preserve the things that make our state great. And I am so excited when I see people move here. And you've heard me say this often. We're really glad you're here. By the way, this last year is the first time in our state's history, well, I guess since 1847, that we had more people move in than our natural growth, than the growth for internal growth. And so I say, we're really glad you're here. Remember why you came, and don't try to turn us into where you left, right? That's what makes this place so special. And we have, I think, a real unique opportunity right now to help people understand the things that do make Utah so different and so special. And I would ask for your help in making that happen. But I do want to make just one little announcement, something that we're really excited about. I said when I ran that I don't want to do this if we're not going to work on the big things. Anyone can just come in this job and do fine, but I really want to focus on the hard issues and the big issues. And so I challenged my cabinet to come to us with their biggest and best ideas. And there are so many, and we'll be talking about more of those. But there's one in particular that I'm very excited about that you'll be hearing more about and that will impact all of you. And it was Carlos Braceras, who many of you know with UDOT, who came into our team, and he said, hey, so some of you will remember when the United States interstate road system was put into place. Okay, so I-15, I-80, I-70, this big idea of bringing an interstate connector system to our country and what that looked like. Now, a few of you may be old enough to remember when I-15 was completed, and what a difference that made in our nation. Now our ability to travel, to bring goods and services, to go and visit new places and see new things. He said, well, what if we did that here in the state of Utah, but for trails? What if we had a big and bold idea to take our trail systems in this state and work together to connect all of them so that you could go anywhere in this state, biking, walking, running, pushing a stroller, however you want to get there, you can get there and not do it in a vehicle. And I thought that was a damn good idea. And so that's what we're going to do. Over the next few years, we're going to be working with the legislature, getting funding, working with all of you. You all have incredible plans. I know you're all doing your trails. We're going to start working together. We don't know exactly how it's going to work yet. We're still working through the details of that. But this idea of connecting all of these trails in our state, making Utah, again, the most outdoor-friendly state in the nation. God was showing off when he created Utah, and we're going to share that with the world. So thank you for what you're doing to keep life elevated, to make the quality of life here so great. We are so blessed to have local leaders who are making a tremendous difference. We love you. Let's keep working together, and may God bless you in this great work. Thank you.